Good afternoon, student. Today we will discuss about Chapter 6, Architecture School, Choosing and Being Chosen. We have many architecture schools in California, so you can select it. Some of them is public school, some of them is private school. It depends what your condition. You can select for either communities college to study for minimum 3 years, and after that transfer to another university, or you can apply directly to the university for 5 years program for architecture. Many choice. It depends on each of people, so you can go over with the school. Each of the school they have major from architecture. You can select this and you apply for the one. When you apply for, you can choose many schools to apply. However, it depends on each of school. They have the guideline to accept the student, and that's why you have the chapter. We will talk about choosing. That's the way you select the school, and being chosen. That means the school accept you to the program architecture. Same thing with another chapter. After you read the chapter, you need to answer the question, and you email to me on the weekend by the due date. If you look at the schedule, you see the due date, and you can go to the weekend from that due date and email for me. Of course, you can email me anytime when you're done. About the chapter choosing school and the school chosen, you have many parts. The first of all, you need to prepare for architecture school. The school, it depends for drawing and graphics, so you learn both. Usually you learn for manual drafting, and after that you learn for graphics for on AutoCAD. Right now in the Cerritos College, if you select some design class, you can come into the lab. You can see that you have the big table. It's for manual drafting, and in there you have the computer. So that means you use both way. Drawing, it depends on the class on design and AutoCAD if you select the AutoCAD class. So basically, prepare for architecture school, you need to know about drawing, and all you will learn about drawing and graphics. The work is start with the design and art. So basically you need to know about math, geometry, because you need to measure. We have to calculate for area, for the height from the building, and how the width from the building. So that's why you need calculation, and that's why the math, geometry, calculus, science, physics, computer skill, or everything regard with that is have you to study for this major. Reading, writing, oral expression, or some cultural interest. Freehand sketching, it depends on the people, but if you have that, is support for the major. Painting, drawing, and sculpture, all of them, if you know something, and it's help for you to learn architecture. Beside the book, like I told you, math, physics, and other other subject can help you to do for the architecture about science, art. So besides physics, math, art, and other else, if you need it can support for you study for architecture major. Choosing school, this is a big decision because we have many factors for choosing school. Architecture school to apply, and after that, if they admit us, and you can attend that. But architecture school, some school they have the major architecture, some school they didn't have it. So that's why before you plan to study architecture school, you need to search for, make sure that's what university or college or state college or state university, which one they have the major, and you can search and apply for. naab.org, they have the architecture program produce the list of credit architecture school in the United States. So after, you can begin explore the website from each of school, and if you're interested, visit there. After that, you can apply for. This is some of the school they have major from architecture: UC Berkeley, University Utah, Salt Lake City, Rice University in Houston, Harvard, MIT. MIT is the first school they have architecture major. In Cambridge, Yale, Columbia, in New York City, University Pennsylvania, this is technology university at Philadelphia, and another city they have Cal Polytechnics, San Luis Obispo, where I graduated from bachelor degree. Cal Poly Pomona is close here. That's one of the school with very good architecture school. If you look at this, on the top one, a lot of the private school, and the second one, you see this one for the public school. So it depends on your finance of your house. You can study in the private school or in the public school. The cost for each of them is different. We will discuss about that in the cost later from this chapter. The school I tell you, MIT, is the first school they have architecture school, and this is in Cambridge, and this is a very good school. MIT, Massachusetts Institute for Technology. This is a very old school and very good school also. Harvard, that is famous a lot in medical school and medical research, not medical like the regular medical. We have two of them, primary medical and the second one is research. So Harvard is famous on research medical, and they have architecture, but you need to search for, make sure that is the history from architecture at there. This is Stanford University, and this is in California, and this is famous school. Famous a lot of the major, but architecture not much. University of Utah, they also have architecture school. Yale, Columbia University, they also have Columbia, and another university they have Pennsylvania, they have Pennsylvania, a very good school for architecture also. Location. The first one is preparation, and the second one is location. Many city school and urban design lab, their doorstep, they can directly engage on the city urban design, and they effect on policy and have solved real city problem. Urban school can readily draw on the resource from the city, invite people from the city into school to teach. You can visit on the architecture office and talk with the architects in practice, because Star Architecture School. Some of the school they have the tour, for you can stop to visit and you go to the tour to the school. You can attend in the class few hours, and after that you can thinking you apply or not. They have open, for example, they usually open in the summer before the school, before the fall quarter or semester, and they have the tour for you can couple hours go around to the school, around the department, and after that you decide to apply or not. They have program like that in a lot of school. Okay, about the program, usually a lot of people know that architecture school we need 5 years, 5-year program for bachelor degree, and after that if you go continue with master degree, maybe you need more or less 2 more years to finish that one for master degree. But if you have bachelor degree, you need 5 years. I am do less than 5 years because you on of the summer to study. You should know that in university, a lot of school they have quarterly school, so that's why they didn't have semester like college. Semester you take longer, 18 weeks, but on the quarter You just take 10 weeks for 1 quarter. So that's why 1 year you have spring, you have fall, you have winter, and after that you have summer. So if you save time by take few of the class on summer, and you can save the time for graduate. So that's why I'm graduate less than 5 years program, because I have summer school. I study on of the summer. So the most of student, graduate student, they can go straight to the master, and they take less than 2 years if they go full time. Reputation, the school reputation is not important. School have reputation, deserved and undeserved, and such reputation influence who attain, some extent what become the graduate. I don't think this one is one important thing you need to concern, because even the school have very good or not, it's not really much effect on the student. I think if the students study good and everywhere, they can develop their skill or their major about that. On of the school, I tell you, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Cal State, Columbia, MIT, on of the school and the student, they have the top student and faculty, and they have high admission rating standard. In the architecture school, frequently they have their course, they have curricula, and they have modified their goal to approach the design teaching. Few things you need to know that some of school they very famous on design teaching, but another school they famous on not design teaching. So that's why a lot of architecture school, the state university, they have the top quality program and very first rate for faculty members. They have excellent resource and physical facility. If you look at the Cerritos College right now, you see they right now just community college, but you see that's on the lab. Especially on design lab, you have the table, the big table, and after that you have 2 big screens for both sides. So when you come into the lab, even you sit on this side or the other side, you can see on the big screen both sides. And after that you have the table to do for your module drafting by yourself. Either you have and you also have the computer, so you can use computer at that time also. So right now the lab is look like that. Now if you go to higher level in university, usually architecture they have the studio. So one studio maybe 6 students in there, and they have the panel for separate student to student. You have the space for you do everything on your own. So in late from the chapter you can see that about what I'm talking about, the studio. Okay. This is some of the school in architecture, private school design, and the people study on there. This is the picture to show with you the architecture student. You see when you graduate, many different color. For example, in engineer they have the orange color on the tussle or on the wall they put outside here. If you see some student graduate with the wall outside here like this, it's a master degree, and if they didn't have that, let's say from bachelor degree. And on the tussle right here, if they show on the left one, that means master. If they show on the right one, look like this, they put on the right one from the cap, and they say for bachelor degree. So this is the regular color for architecture major, purple. The tussle is also the purple, and after that, if you have master, you have the wall outside here, is also purple. So now, if you look at on the cap, they have some design in there. It's just for fun. Look like this one for arc gate, right? And after that, the building right here. This is just for fun. And when I'm graduate, this one not allowed to go to ceremony. You can do this one in department only. In department of architecture, you can do like this. It's it's for fun. But if you go to ceremony, you need to do simple like this. You cannot, design everything on the top from the cap. So now resource, a lot of school they have very strong combination from factory, from faculty and operation, classroom, studio, library, digital facility, equipment. I think it's right now all of them you can get in Cerritos College. You can see that everything is good. The website, or some kind of like talk with the dean, chair, admission directory, you can make appointment very easy with them when you want to discuss something about the school. Design study professor, they have usually with the ideal class they have accept 16 students only. If you have university, like I told you, in studio maybe less than 10 students in there, and 12 to 16 is the ideal from the class in architecture. Digital, right now they have some slide video and all the equipment to support for the school. Studio, the one you will see, very much in on of architecture school. Before you design, review, presentation, and everything regard with that. This is one of the example for studio. You see, one people have the space like this with the panel and the table. You have couple table, one drawing table, and after that you can put another table. And one studio, big studio like that, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think that's around 6 to 10 students only with the big lab, and you have the key to get in the studio anytime. Some studio for the model, when you do the big model, and like this room, they use for the model presentation, so they need a lot of space for material and the table. So that's why in the big studio we have few people only in the lab one. The cost, like before I told you, the cost is different for each school, but if they have on the private school, maybe it's around 65, or around 65, more or less 65,000 a year for the private school. But in the public school, I think that is around less than 20,000 a year. For the school fee, maybe more than 6,000 one semester, and if you have 2 semesters, so it's less than 15,000, I guess. And after that, they give you the loan and everything for you can do. So public and the private university, they have different one, and they grow for steadily. State university had not experienced drops in enrollments in the part because tuition rate at the private institution have the rates faster and still higher than state university. So state university, if you see the fee is lower, and the second one is not change a lot every year because it have support from partly from government. Many universities, they offer from the scholarship, fellowship, and research assistantship that can reduce the tuition for students. About the student. Students can come from various U.S. cities, regions, state, and also from various countries. So that's why they accept all of the students, even inside U.S. or international students also. Good students are attracted to good school and program, but there are always outstanding students in every architecture program, students who would excel whatever they may enroll. So that's why all of the students, when you register and when you apply and when you accept to the school, that means you have research from the school ready. And usually all of the students try the best to get very good when they graduate from the school. Many big state university, they feel that students just passing through. The intellectual climate in architecture school can be quite heady. So it depends on the time, depend on the situation from background, and many school accept student is so different each year and different for major. This is close with the picture. You can see the student graduate from school with the master. They have the wall like this, same color, the purple, and they put on the left one, tussle on the left one for master. Okay, the faculty, some faculty member, they're quite willing to tell you how good they are, but students want to know how do they can teach them. The way to be teacher with student communication is so different. Even very, very good teacher, but the way they cannot communicate with the student, and the student cannot good, that means they cannot learn everything from teacher. So that's why if a good teacher, they have the best methods how they transfer some knowledge, the good knowledge for student. Some faculty they use for their experience, they share with the students. Some faculty they use from knowledge from reading from school and share with the student. With myself, I usually combine both of them. The one I learned from the major architecture, which I have bachelor and master degree, I want to share with students about my knowledge. Some I learned from that one. Plus with more than 15 years working outside with experience, I want to share with students something very helpful, for they can see beside of the book which one is the real projects they can see when they graduate from. Not just the book, they need to learn something real, something they can see every day. So that's why the way I'm teaching is like that. I want to share with the student everything about my knowledge from school, and after that about my working experience. Especially something happened with me every day in the career. I want to share with students, for they know what is the real one they can face with after they graduate. That's the way I'm teaching. Admission process, it depends on each of school. So with the process, you need to apply, and after that, they have the guideline. You can do online to do the guideline application, and it takes maybe a couple months for the team. They can go review it on application, and which one is the strong one, and they can select your name in the, accept student. The program and deal with the faculty member, they have specific design philosophy and principle. They have the problem projects, even many thinking about looking in the world. School of Architect must meet with the maintain from professional degree, and they can have their own orientation. This architecture school, they have different methods to teach their students. Urban design, a distinct discipline of architecture were pioneer. Harvard, University, MIT. Sometimes school change direction every year or few years. So it depends on the school. This is some pictures so you can see the staff from the school, and the people on graduate day, the staff from the university, they can share with you about that. This one is one of the project in the master. If in architecture, if you call that the master projects, that means the project they have the big view from on of the building, and with the park outside from the building also. They can show the street, the freeway, and some of the community park or some of the sport area. So that's why the master, that means they include a lot of the small together. So that's why they call that the master plan in architecture. Okay, admission process. The first of all, I think that's portfolio. If you study an architecture major, you should know about portfolio. Portfolio is one you can show on of example from your work from college or from higher level. But this one is the one you save on of the image in art, in design, in drawing and photography. You save it and you can do on the digital, and after that you can bring with you for the interview. Some of the school they have the interview, but some is not. They just need you send portfolio for them. After you look at your portfolio, they can have the question for you, or they can write the letter for you. Can come to the interview before they accept to go to the go to the architecture school. Reference letter. Some students they ask the teacher which one know them a lot about studies, so they can write the letter for the student can add it on when they submit application. This one very help also, and the teacher can tell very short about what he thinking about the student, write the letter, and after that student will send the letter to with application. Rate. Apply for the highest rate. Point average can be must. However, the rate are not everything. Remember, we have many conditions, many factors before you can be accepted to the school. So rate is one of them. It's not everything. So that means that beside rate, beside reference letters, you need some kind like your knowledge and a lot more thing before they decide to accept you or not in the school. So rate is some kind like support you if you have very good grade and more chance to get in the school. So reference letter, some kind like the one make you have better look with the people interview you. So if you have that, show them and they know, oh, the teacher know this one very good, and they give you more positive point before they accept you to go to the program. Essay is something you need to write, and you need to focus on something interesting to say or relevance, or you can organize your thought, and you can be express yourself, correct grammar, spelling, and punctuation. So that's all you can do for your essay. Exam, they usually ask you for SAT or GRE for the test, but basically this one is just support for the application when you apply for. Timing, the application deadline, they have the mid to late winter, and the student are they used to do they submit, like for example public school on, I think that's between before November, and after that between February and May they will let you know you accept or not, you be accept or not. I remember it's long ago, but I remember when I apply on I think it's on August or something like that. August to November, I guess. And on January, after Christmas and January, I got the letter. They accept to the school. So that's why it's different from school to school. However, at that time, you can get the letter, they accept or not. And they tell you the reason why yes and why no. Financial aid, it depends, like I told you, many universities, they have the standardized for financial assistance. So when you apply, they will figure out how much they can help you for financial. They can give you some, like the rent, you don't need to pay. Some of them you give you the finance, the loan, the student loan, subsidized or unsubsidized. Something you can borrow and after that you pay back no interest. Something you need to pay the interest after you graduate, 6 months after you graduate. And some school they give you the work study enough or you can pay the rest of them with low interest. They can help you few more program, they can help you to go to school. Admission art, apply 3 or 4 school and which are like they just let you know that Sometimes when you apply for one school, maybe they can accept, maybe they deny. So that's why the best way, you need to apply more school, 4 school or 6 school. For example, you apply for 3 school you like best, and after that 3 school background you not really like. But in case for background, if 3 interesting school not accept you, and how about the rest 3, maybe they accept you. So just thinking about that. Don't thinking, oh, I like this school, I need to study at that school. Nothing too sure. So that's why you just apply few more. So that means for you can study. In case you cannot study this school, you can study another school. Usually they have waiting list, but the waiting list is maybe they not touch. And after that, school, everything you can do. However, when they accept, when they admit you in the school, you need to do for your decision. For example, you have few school accept at the same time. For example, you apply for 3 school, and on of 3 they accept you. So now your choice is to select one of them only, and you need to return confirm with deposit you will study that school. So now many school they do early for make sure that they know how many students will be attend from that school. So that's why they give a lot of promotion or a lot of financial, something like that, very early. So for you can see that, and you can confirm, pay deposit for you will study at that school. So many school they do very early. For example, in Santa Barbara they do very early also, for make sure that, and very much for the loan and the work study. I remember my boys when they applied for school in Harvard, and after that he applied for all of the university here. All of them accept him, and Santa Barbara is the one they submit. UC Santa Barbara, they send a letter very early and with very special program. But my boy not select that school. He stopped by to another school, and he really interesting with, and he accept the school with the loan. I mean with the financial, not much like UC Santa Barbara. So it depends. So you can select which one you like, and I suggest that you need to submit few school, not just one. I saw some of students submit apply one school only, and after that they so sad because that school not accept her for that year, but next year they accept us when she reapply again. So basically nothing, but you lost the time. You need to wait 1 year to go with the school you like. It's not good. You can study another school, and maybe you can get happy when you go to another school. So that I'm just share with you about myself, but you can do everything depend you. So this is on of the question you need to answer for me before the weekend from the due date. Now I share with you few of the one when I do in the college and university. This is the projects I do when I'm studying in the college. I do the projects for the principal house, and this is the mission. This is the parking lot, and this project I work when I'm studying at university. This is the orphanage for the senior center, and this one for museum. Mission. This is another project from Arts Museum in LA. This is the house in the beach, and you look at that, the structure very high. The beach, the level from the beach, and this is the house. This is some of the coloring I do in university. I take one course from watercolor, and this is watercolor. This is the house. This one, you know this house, I guess. This is from Frank Lloyd Wright, the water house, and this is another project from him. This one I just color the president house. This is the church, and this is another house. This is one house from Le Corbusier, and this one the technology building interior, and this is interior design, and this one from the outside. This one is the project I'm sketch from when I worked long ago with companies R&M, and this one is the watercoloring. This one is the job when I work for stdr architects, and this one, if you look careful, this I forgot his name, he's the guy on golf. I forgot his name, but actually he designed for the 24 Fitness. Tiger Wood. Yes, Tiger Wood. He ordered some of 24 Fitness franchise. This is designed for one restaurant. This one inside for 24 Fitness when we do the sport, and with the sport inside from the 24 Fitness. This is the kid club we design for when I work for stdr, and this one is coloring, and this one is the one you see before for mission in Santa Barbara. This is long ago. This area the side plan. This is long ago when I do the courtyard for orphanage in Vietnam. This is one of the projects for Rotary. I do this one in the real side, and I make everything on what they call auto, I don't know, but I record this one night for to make this like look like motivate for all of the projects. This is the one when I work for stdr. This is the logo from stdr for Elephant Bar restaurant, and we designed this one for stdr, and Elephant Bar is the one that means the company stdr we designed for this one, and after that all of Elephant Bar around in the Middle East and in the other state use the same design from us. And this one, if you go to right now Disney, if you go to Disneyland, before when I design, that's called the Playa Katina, but now they changed the name. It look like Joe. The name they changed. Disney Downtown. You can see the restaurant. Look like this with the title maybe Joe. Right now they changed the name is Joe. Change the owner. And this is the original one when we designed for that one. Playa Katina. When I designed for that city, Playa Katina. But now they changed the name is Joe's. You can go to Disney Downtown. You can see this one. Thank you so much for go with the lecture for today. Today is chapter 6 about school, how you choosing and being chosen. This is one of the chapter in the textbook, and this is the chapter will be covered for quiz number 2. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.